Hey guys, today I thought I'd talk about two Spanish movies. Yeah, I thought I'd share my thoughts thought slash very unpopular opinion on two Spanish movies that came out just a year, but with they came out in 2016 and 2017, 1 year apart, and um, yeah, I just thought I'd just talk about it and just share my thoughts. And yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna cut to the chase right now. And this is my unpopular opinion is. I already know a million people are gonna disagree, but whatever. To each his own, right? My unpopular opinion is the Invisible Guardian. This was actually a much more enjoyable movie than the Invisible Guest. That one, and it's not loading. Um, Yeah, I know a lot of people are gonna disagree because just look at this age rating difference: 6.3 out of 10 and 20%. Oh, come on, excuse that. Yeah, Invisible Guest has a 6.3 out of 10. Invisible Guardian has a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb and 20% Rotten Tomatoes and 58% audience score. While the Guest has an 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 63% critic score, and 85% audience score. Yeah, just people might think I'm weird, but oh well. Anyway, time to move on to my opinion on it. So I guess the reason why I liked the Invisible Guardian more was I'm just gonna to say why I did not like the Invisible Guest. It's well, the Invisible Guest. It was there were from my point of view. There were when I was watching it. There were very few. There were very few very suspenseful moments, and it was not exciting. In fact, it was quite boring actually. It also because it had some stuff that it was also when it wasn't boring. There were also several confusing moments. Um, I believe, for example, let me think. The moment where Laura and Adrian just get into the car accident and they kill that what's his face Daniel, that's his name. They kill Daniel in a accidentally by car accident, and then Adrian wants to report the cops, report it right, and then Laura's oh no, yeah, it wasn't our fault, right? That's what she said. It wasn't our fault because he was texting and he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Okay, but if it wasn't their fault, I don't get it. If it wasn't their fault, if that's what they rationalized, then why wouldn't they report it then? They got nothing. I feel like they got nothing to lose if they really do believe that it's not their fault. Okay, well, that part where they actually pretended to exchange insurance information was kind of clever. And then, well, another thing, I thought the Invisible Guest was kind of cliched a little bit, yeah. Um, well, at least one part of it was, and that was, or maybe two parts, and that was one part was especially that part where when Laura is waiting, gets picked up by by a kind Samaritan, and then they take her back to their house, and then that's where Laura discovers that the guy that they accidentally killed was actually that nice Samaritan's son. That is honestly that's really a cliche now. Really, that's not an original idea. I mean, I've seen similar concepts in children's shows rated 8 years old and up. Yeah, I actually, to be honest, I was very disappointed when I found out that was gonna be one of the storylines, because I've seen it many times already. Um, Another cliche was kind of there's kind of slight cliches that like the way that there was like Laura and Adrian were like it got to a point where at first they're like, oh, we'll never see each other again, as a method of never like hiding the evidence, I guess. So that's what they tried to at first, but then no, like what you expect, right? They meet again, and this time their relationship is a bit more hostile. Although it didn't really last like this, but there was a part where their relationship becomes more hostile, and it just comes to a point where they kind of threaten to frame each other. That's also really a cliche now. Um, and it's, yeah, it is just like what you expect. So, in this like about like 2/3 into the movie is when it starts to get confusing for me at least. It began to get confusing. It was like it it starts to um yeah, it would flash back to like the car accident scene and the part where they dumped the car, the body, into the lake. It gets to the point where it gets confusing because we start to wonder, like the movie starts to show like what really happened, because then the movie flashed back to that car accident scene where like at first, like initially it was Laura's idea to hide the evidence, but uh then it flashes back and it kind of I think the movie like suggests that maybe it was actually Adrian's idea to hide the evidence. I don't know. This is my point here. It's I was having a hard time understanding what really happened in reality. Um, yeah, like still right now, by the end of the movie, I really was not fully sure like what really happened throughout the entire movie, because like also like the entire movie was not even happening in live in like in real time. Like the whole movie was basically like Adrian telling everything to his lawyer. Well, I'll say the movie did have a neat twist at the end. Yes. It's spoiler alert. It's when like it's yeah, spoiler alert. If you don't want like spoilers, turn the video off. And it's that like the lawyer that Adrian is talking to actually turns out to be the mother of of Daniel, the guy they killed in the car accident, and she was just in disguise, kind of like just to gain evidence as to what really happened, because she and her husband had already been like suspecting, like, something's off about Adrian and Laura. Yeah, just so anyway, I think I'll say the ending was neat, okay? But yeah, that's it. The movie was boring and rather confusing, and it's just not my. I didn't like it. I did not like The Invisible Guest. But moving on to something a bit more positive, okay? I did like The Invisible Guardian. I know people think I'm weird. It's just I thought The Invisible Guardian had that really awesome, like really suspenseful. I thought The Guardian had the suspense and the well, it wasn't too suspenseful, but it did have it did have a nice nature shots, and it also had that like mystery that I was looking for in The Invisible Guest. The Invisible Guest, I was just like, what? Like, and the Invisible Guardian, I'm like, holy shit, like, what's gonna happen next and all that, right? That's what I was thinking, like, eh. Anyway, so yeah, also like one other, like, I really like the Invisible Guardians, like mysterious points, like the part, I believe there was a part where like there was like the movie is about missing people, right? And like there's a serial killer on the loose, and then I did like the part where like the main girl, like I can't remember her character's name, but like, um, the main girl is sleeping, and then she wakes up, and then she sees that little like one like the silhouette of the missing girl like out of her like window on the bridge, like some ways apart. I mean, some it was kind of far away though, but I really like that. It was mysterious, and I don't know. People might think that's a cliche too, but in my opinion, that cliche is kind of neat. One more thing, The Invisible Guardian is the very first movie I've ever seen that. It's the very first movie I've ever seen that actually involves a Sasquatch. Hence the title. Like, the Sasquatch in the movie is supposed to be the invisible guardian, like the visible like supernatural guardian that kind of like watches over the woods. Yeah, that's just also I did like there was some added family drama in the movie, which I was fine with, and yeah, the ending scene was like still like again spoiler alert. It's like the basically the main girl like staring out her window, announcing that she's pregnant, which is what she wants, what she and her boyfriend wants, and then this movie kind of ends with her staring out the window with a half smile on her face, and then in the distance we see that's the Sasquatch, the invisible guardian, just kind of just turn around and calmly walk away. We never see its face though. And yeah, that's how it ends. And you know what? Like I thought the Invisible Guardian had the mystery. Like it. Oh yeah, because I believe the Invisible Guardian was like about like missing people and all, right? Like yeah, it was like about like the disappearance of certain people, and then like yeah, that's actually one of my favorite storylines in movies or stories in general. Like one of my favorite storylines are missing people stories. I love those. And yep, that's just about it. People are gonna disagree. That's okay. But yeah, that that is why I like the Invisible Guardian more than the Invisible Guest. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. See you guys later.